Hello there, and this is my third video. Um, it is the third video yet I'm doing for my crowdfunding um, to raise interest for my project, Sasquatch and the Mythology Sisterhood, which is a idea I came up with a while back. I've always been fascinated by cryptozoology. Bigfoot, Sasquatch, the Loch Ness Monster, the Mothman, the Yeti, Abominable Snowman, trying to think of some other cryptids, Chupacabra, the Dogman, or Dogmen, and I guess Black Alice would qualify. Anyway, these are like mythical characters, mythical creatures. I saw a Bigfoot movie years ago that really freaked me out, and really it inspired me because there's a scene in the movie where Bigfoot reaches through a window to grab somebody. So I even put the scene like that in my cartoon where um, allegedly Bigfoot abducts a young woman, and this sends the main character Scott on a quest to get revenge. Um, you know, the assumption is that she's no longer with us. But I'm not going to say too much about that. I'm still building the story and everything. Now, I originally was going to do a live action film. I realized that over time this is probably too ambitious, considering the budget I would need for special effects, costumes, locations, and trying to find a Native American actor to play Sasquatch was a challenge. Still a challenge, actually. So doing an animated project, was a no-brainer. Be easier to do and get my idea across. So I did shoot a short live-action clip which features Scott, who plays a major part in the Sasquatch and the Mythology Sisterhood story. Now Scott is a particular interest because he has psychic abilities, and Scott runs across Sasquatch and the Mythology Sisterhood. The Mythology Sisterhood are a group of women bounty hunters that have superpowers, and they all have a common enemy with Sasquatch. So Sasquatch, aka Bigfoot, also known as Hinto, joins forces with these women. So he's kind of like their leader, sort of like an unofficial capacity. He's been around for like thousands of years, so he's got lots of experience fighting the particular being that they have common conflict with. This villain was the big baddie of my universe, my connected universe. Like every comic company, has a big villain. With DC it would be Darkseid, I guess, and with Marvel, of course, it was Thanos. Valiant universe, I guess it would be Toyo Harada. I don't know if anyone reads the Valiant comics, seen this video, but Valiant was a big company back in the day. I mean, they still produce stuff, but they had a really great comic book I would recommend. It's called Harbinger. It's sort of like an X-Men kind of story, and that's where the Deadshot movie came from. I think was it Deadshot? The character that Vin Diesel did the movie, where he has the nanobots in his body that like allow him to pretty much regenerate from any wound. It's like cybernetics, I guess, or micro cybernetics, I guess I would say. It's like little tiny robots that live in your body and just pretty much make you immortal. So there's Valiant and an Image. I'm not sure who the big baddie in Image is, because I didn't really get too much into the Image comics, and I'm trying to think of another comic company out there. I mean, it's not just Marvel and DC. A lot of people seem to think so. But anyway, so my main villain is Oasis. Now, Oasis is a fallen angel. She's been around for thousands of years, and she is on a quest for something. I'll reveal more of that later. She is after something, and Scott plays a big part in that. And the Mythology Sisterhood have a woman who actually was created by Oasis, and Oasis wants her back for a variety of reasons. And Bigfoot, Sasquatch, had a conflict with Oasis because she was responsible for, killing a lot of people that he knew over the years, doing a lot of bad things. He actually also has two weapons that belong to her, which is a particular interest. Now, the one thing about Bigfoot, Sasquatch, it's kind of like a Captain America character. Great leadership skills, really inspires people, and he's a man out of his time because Hinto, aka Bigfoot Sasquatch, was a statue until recently he was unstatuized. So I don't think that's a word, but anyway, so he, has to get used to being in a world where there's automobiles and things, and technology that wasn't maybe around thousands of years ago, that we didn't have airplanes and all this stuff, planes and trains and cars and helicopters and TV, computers, phones. All this stuff is like it's like almost like magic in a way to him, because he's an ancient. So Hinto, even when he transforms into the beast-like Sasquatch form, which is a combination of like 8 different animals. So my version of Sasquatch is radically different from what you are used to, believe me. And his abilities, very unique. He's descended from genetically engineered warriors who were kidnapped and experimented on by aliens, and this is so they were like mystical, like warriors, who had like some magical. Basically, they would just think of them as like super soldiers, but on the level of like a Black Panther. And is their power. They had like magically enhanced physical abilities, but these warriors went to war with an alien invasion, and it failed, and they were captured and experimented on and turned into these like beast-like, given these beast-like abilities where they could transform. And now there's only a few left. There was a revolt. Long story short, the aliens were eventually repelled by the warriors, mystic warriors that they had experimented on. And so that's where my origin of my Sasquatch, Bigfoot, comes from. So Hinto is descended from these I guess I can call them I don't want to call them holy warriors. So there are others like Hinto that have the same abilities, but they're only like a few. They're tribe. They're kind of like a separate tribe from the other tribe because they're sort of like outcasts and pretty much considered weapons. The only time they're really accepted or wanted around is when there's a big problem and you need someone to come and take care of it, and you get the super powered people to come in, but you don't really they don't really like trust them or kind of like treat them some kind of way. At least some of them do. The younger people might not feel that way, but a lot of people are suspicious and don't trust them because of their beast-like nature and their tendency to lose control, which is why Hinto was a statue. He actually had himself transformed into a statue because he was losing control of his animal nature. So he's kind of pissed off when he wakes up, when he's inadvertently brought back from his statue form by one of my characters, well, two of my characters actually, Dragon Manx, who has his own comic book that I did the crowdfunding for 2 years ago, a year and a half, 2 years ago, and his ex, his lover at the time. So it's a long story, but they were in another dimension, and they inadvertently brought back Sasquatch in statue form and just thought he was just a big statue, and then he just unstatualized. Don't using that word again. So I have really big, epic plans for Sasquatch and the Mythology Sisterhood. So I want to do a bunch of videos to just kind of give an idea of the concept. And also I want to do some videos behind the scenes stuff, because the cartoon is going to be combined, so like how Kill Bill had the little animated section, the little animated sequence. I'm going to be doing something like that with this cartoon, and it's kind of ambitious, but I just want to take everybody on this journey. And I'll be launching my Kickstarter or Indiegogo and GoFundMe campaigns pretty soon, so this is all going to be leading up to that, and it will also excuse me, it will also feature in the campaigns as well, because when I did my campaign for my comic book, I was doing videos like every day, promoting, talking about it, just showing my passion, and just kind of giving people, really doing my best to give people an understanding of what I'm trying to do here, as I build my connected universe. Little short history lesson. I actually had 4 different web series years ago. So Sasquatch and the Mythology Sisterhood is a soft reboot of those 4 web series that I had going on YouTube years ago. So I don't call it a full reboot. It's sort of a reboot in a way that I guess Daredevil Reborn is a soft reboot, because I guess the stuff that happened in the Netflix series, it did happen, and so Disney Plus isn't just ignoring that, they're just kind of like building on it, but adding some new stuff and maybe keeping it more accessible for new people. Anyway, so that's my video for today, and today is April the 16th, 2025, and I'll be back with more videos, and thank you for tuning in.